We got the family loaded up in the redesigned since last year 2023 Toyota Sequoia. Let's get outside and talk about the powertrain first of all. Gone is the V8 twin turbo V6 hybrid. Toyota calls this the iForce Max powertrain. We're seeing a little over 18 miles per gallon driving in the city. Old Sequoia was maybe like 12, 13 miles per gallon in the city, so big improvement there. This can also tow over 9,000 pounds due to the new platform, but also because we're seeing 437 horsepower and a massive 583 pound-feet of torque. I did a 0 to 60, I'll go ahead and play that now. All right, we're gonna flip her into sport mode here in the iForce Max powertrain. Torque brake it just a little bit and go. Great torque off the line. There's 60. Holy smokes. 6.61, 0 to 60. I'm happy with that. We're gonna call it a day. 0 to 100 kilometers per hour, under 7 seconds, 6.94. Some of you guys might miss the V8 though, and we'll talk more about that when we're on our driving impressions. The front end of the Sequoia is really handsome, and that's something that the Tundra just, when it came out, it still raises some eyebrows because it's so macho with the the handlebar mustache going on with it. This is much more classic Toyota. It almost looks like a Tacoma, but just enlarged, and I just like it better than the Tundra's looks. Let me know down below what you guys like better. This also has a blue Toyota logo, letting you know that it's a hybrid from the outside. Now, this is the Capstone model, coming around $80,000. So one of the ways you can tell from the front that it's the Capstone is this unique grille that you won't see on the other grades. We're gonna come around here. I love the lights on here. If you missed my nighttime review of the Sequoia, these lights are very impressive at night. That you got sequential turn signals, very pretty. The daytime running lights are on right now, but it's facing the sun, so you can't see it that much. iForce Max logo on every single Sequoia, because every Sequoia comes with the standard hybrid setup with the 437 horsepower. Now this Capstone comes with massive 22s on a factory Toyota. It's quite crazy. Now we also get that Capstone trim right here at the bottom. So you have chrome on the windows, chrome on the roof rails, chrome on the handles, and chrome around the window surrounds. Now, smart key access, I've only been able to get it to work on the front door. I don't believe it's available on the back door. So parents, keep that in mind. When you open the door, or you want to get in the back door first, you have to press or put your hand in this handle first before you can open the back door. But speaking of the back door, when we put these kids in and out, this Capstone has a motorized running board that makes it so easy for the kids to get in and out. We really appreciate that. Could we live without it? Maybe not right now, honestly, because our kids are so small. So our oldest kid is 7, our youngest is about 3, and this allows them to get in and out with a breeze. Let's come around to the back. There's this full spare tire underneath. Like I mentioned, this does tow over 9,000 pounds in the right configurations. You also have a little kick sensor down here, let you know where you need to kick to open it. Luckily it worked. That was the first time I tried it, so that's great. You also have that big Sequoia logo on the back if you were wondering what I was driving. Some people have mistaken this for a Land Cruiser out on the streets already. All right, so the cargo capacity coming in close cast. The Toyota has this floating shelf here that can sink into each individual. I guess there are 3 different settings. You could remove it altogether as well if you wanted to, and that allows you to put more stuff and just use the verticality of this cargo space quite well. You can also customize the cargo space by sliding these seats forward and back with these handles. I have them pushed all the way forward because our kids' legs are like this long for the 3rd row, so we want to maximize that cargo space, and it's actually quite accommodating, I'd say, for a 3-row SUV. Now back here, Cass, if you want to see, we have a 400-watt power adapter. So for your road trips, you can run an extension cord through here, run game consoles, probably run, I don't know, charge all your stuff, laptops. You let your imagination run wild, because that is a lot of power, 400 watts to power your stuff. We also have motorized seats to fold down here as well. Also, if you want to tailgate, this JBL audio has speakers right here on the lift gate that showers down the audio for you. All right, now that the hatch is closed, another blue accented Toyota logo. Again, letting you know it's a hybrid because there's nothing else on the back here that says hybrid. This little button, old school, reminds me of Lexus GX. Love it. You can throw things in here without opening up the entire hatch, and you could also put in a bunch of long boards or something. I don't know, use your imagination. Now you also have this little camera here. This is your digital rear view mirror camera. And then this camera down here is your 360 or backup camera, so it's quite useful. Let's come around to the back seat here. Well, we have 2 back seats, and we have the nice running board, but opening the door, we have sunshades on this Capstone. Love that. The ornamentation here on the door is quite strong as well, with the wood and the nice two-tone black and nice ivory color. We also have this aluminum JBL speaker grill cover, which looks pretty cool in this Capstone. It's only going to look like that in this Capstone as the ambulance come by. All right, I'm going to take the camera from you, Cass, and we're talking about the back row. Girls, we're going to move your bags. Okay, some people say the back row is only for kids. Now, I wouldn't say that's true. I mean, if I sit in this middle row, I can really stretch out my legs. So in terms of leg room, I'm happy, and these seats are pulled all the way back. So even if I'm sitting in this seat, I can fit. Headroom, I actually have better headroom in this middle seat than I did in the outboard seats for whatever reason. My head isn't touching the roof. I don't know if I've shrunk since this morning, but I'm 6'1" and my head in this middle seat is not touching. You also have the ability to control the reclining back here. You also have sunshades for this third row, which is great. And not only that, well, Reggie doesn't like that up, but we have vents coming from the roof, which is the best place for air to come into the third row. Sometimes they're down here by the knees or whatever. It just doesn't cool you as well, or the cabin as well, as having it up top. Lastly, there's just one USB-C back here on the left side, the driver's side. We don't have it on this side, but remember, we have that plug-in back there. You can put in an extension cord and run whatever you want back here. Now, for the second row, these seats are very ornate, the captain's chairs, and we have cup holders here on the side for them, a nice pass-through. It's so easy for the kids to get into this third row as well. We have that beautiful panoramic sunroof here on this Capstone. And then this is luxury, which we would never be able to use until the kids are much older because they're in car seats. We have heated and ventilated outboard seats here, and a USB-C, a USB-A charger, and then an additional plug-in for household plug-in, run an extension cord, plug in your laptops, use your imagination there as well. But check this out. I mentioned the roof vents. And the third row, we have it in the second row, and you also have vents here in the second row at the bottom for additional passenger cooling. The door close quality is quite fantastic for a door of this size. I'm very happy with how all the doors sound, opening and closing. Even typically back doors sound a little bit better than front doors, but this guy in the front sounds quite well. Only the mirrors rattling a little bit when you close it. The quality of these seats with the two-tone is quite impressive. Just like that door in the back, we have that two-tone going on with a nice shelf here for the driver. You can rest your arm here or down here for your personal preference. We have memory seats on this top of the grade as well. Heated steering wheel, as well as your AC power control for those extension cords in the back. Motorized steering wheel, no surprise. And every single Sequoia comes standard with this 12-inch fully digital display, because that is standard with this iForce Max powertrain. We also have, Cass, I'll give this, oh, are you feeding the kids? Sorry. We have this amazing 14-inch screen. It's one of the highlights of this Capstone, and you can get it in lower grades as well. But check this out. Full screen Android Auto. It is a sight to behold, and it's neutral. It faces straight back here. I think you're available now. It doesn't face the driver, which takes some getting used to, but it is fixed, so it's really easy for and neutral for the passenger in the front seat as well as the driver. Just so big, I love it. The climate control settings here, as well as the switches, are just perfect. I like how, unlike a Lexus, they didn't integrate it into the touchscreen. Massive volume knob. And then we have the 360 camera, which we'll talk a lot about later on when driving. Since this is a truck, I like how they stuck with a traditional shifter here. Very easy to just slam it in to drive. And the ergonomics have lots of space, shoulder space, big steering wheel. And you have different drive modes in here. I never play with it. You have 3 different driving modes. You have sport, normal, and eco. I just keep it in normal. And of course, this is 4x4. You can get these in 2-wheel drive, mind you, as well. But in 4-wheel drive, you just push this and move it around. Make sure you're in neutral. Now, this tray moves around if you want, and it gives you access to the cargo in here. And I'm just going to lift this up real quick. This is cavernous. I put my jacket in here. I have a suction cup in there, my microphone case. You have a coin holder in here, USB chargers as well. It's fantastic. I'm sure this thing would get a ton of use if we owned this big old truck. Since this is a Capstone as well, we need to talk about the quality materials in here. There we go. We have wood ornamentation right in the middle here. We also have it where the cup holders go. You can close this if you don't have, you know, Starbucks or kids sippy cups. You also have wireless charger here, which Cassie really appreciates. And then the materials on the dash, I like the wood trim, and this lights up at night to show the Capstone illuminated. You can't see it during the day. I wish we would have had a brand or something either on the dash, the soft dash here, or on the wood to say Capstone, because we don't have that during the day, unfortunately. The dash material is great. It feels very solid. I haven't heard this thing creak or rattle once since we're driving, and I love these massive bars to climb into this vehicle. Yes, we have that running board, but these handles just are a great assist to climb in and out of this truck. Oh, we have a sunglasses holder here, and it is lined with some foam on one end of it, not here, so it might rattle a little bit. We haven't tested it out. We also have that 360 camera that we talked about earlier. That is a beautiful view of palm trees, skyline, and oceanfront right there. Something most Sequoias probably won't see, unfortunately. And then we have really wide screen vanity mirror here with a little LED light as well. But I think that summarizes it. Let's go ahead and start driving this big truck. We just got out of church. We are heading to Target. We got the family loaded up in the 2023 Toyota Sequoia. This is the top of the line Capstone, which is the $80,000 how it's equipped, top of the line.
80,000?
80 grand.
Oh my
you know,
word.
I think 80 grand is a lot for this SUV, but SUVs are just inherently expensive. All things are expensive nowadays. I think if you can find an SR5, that's the way to go. You might give up the leather seats and get cloth, but honestly, you can find those, if you're lucky, get those around $60,000 and have this still phenomenal powertrain.
Wow.
Speaking of the powertrain, I've been averaging around 15 miles per gallon in town. Today I've been really milking it and I'm getting 19 miles per gallon, but I haven't been pushing the AC hard. Speaking of the AC, you really have to pump that fan speed to get this thing cooled down, you know? So it's a lot of work to keep this car cool to the optimal temperature. The ventilated seats, to me, they don't really do anything, at least in my impressions. Cass, you're a little bit more, I'll turn yours on and I'll have you share your impressions when it kicks in.
No,
they are loud, for sure.
Like when ventilation comes up from
the bottom.
Yeah.
And is it doing that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
like it.
doesn't pass Cassie's list. There are very few cars I have. Last week we had the CX-90 and that passed.
So nice.
That passed your ventilated seat test for sure. Visibility in here is not amazing. And the reason is it feels like the windshield's really squished down. It almost feels like similar to the Tacoma I was in a couple of weeks ago. So it's very limited with visibility. The windows don't even seem that big in here, to be honest. I think the windows in the CX-90 may have actually felt larger than these.
It does feel like you're like boxed in here.
It's, yeah, speaking of box, like we already showed you the interior, but it is very boxy on the inside. So I feel like it gives us a lot of shoulder room in here, a lot of width, but there's not that much height. And like if you're an adult trying to climb to that third row, you're gonna bump your head. Our little kids love it. Their heads are about over a foot away from touching the ceiling back there. It's really designed for little kids, I would say, but just about every 3 row is. Like if you honestly need to put adults in the third row, you should be getting like a cargo van or something like that. When you're just cruising, it's super quiet, but if you're accelerating, the torque is immense. Like the acceleration is amazing in here, but it is very loud. You always have that pumped in engine noise that I could live without, to be honest. And no matter how good they try to make this V6 sound, it doesn't sound as good as the outgoing V8. Speaking of smoothness with the V8 was smoother on the last generation Sequoia that we tested. But this hybrid max powertrain is pretty smooth overall. There's only a few times, maybe when it's downshifting or when you're shifting from reverse to drive, that it is a little clunky at times. But for the most part, it's super smooth. And as I'm coasting to a stop here, the engine likes to turn off to maximize that fuel economy. And the brake pedal in here is okay. Has a lot of progression in it, but it is super easy to bring this vehicle to a smooth stop.
Nice.
Something like in the CX-90 that we had last week, the brakes were really touchy, and also it was difficult to get that to a really smooth and buttery like stop like this truck. Even though it's complete opposite with the brake feel in here, I actually prefer the more forgiving brake feel in this truck compared to like the CX-90 that we had last week.
Too touchy.
The steering in here is super light, which you probably appreciate, but it's completely lifeless and not rewarding like the CX-90.
Right, it was gorgeous. It was an art
Oh
piece.
yeah. Speaking of gorgeous, that Defender there looks pretty cool as well. Yeah, the interior here, Cass, impressions.
I mean, it's very unimpressionable, but not in a bad way.
Okay.
It's just, to me, it's like, it's nice.
It's nice. It's not offensive.
It's not offensive.
No.
It's nice. There's a lot of chrome. I know that you are not a big fan of chrome.
Well, the lane keep assist luckily just went off by the steering wheel. Well, it's a type of silver that it's not as highly reflective typically like most chrome. So
Okay.
actually, I really like the interior, the layout.
Do you?
I
mean, I like this gigantic.
The screen is amazing. Like full screen Android Auto is incredible. That's something, and like the Lexus products that have the same screen, they don't allow you to go full screen because a portion of the screen always has the climate control touchscreen built in, and I don't like it. Look how great it is to have these
really
dedicated
nice.
buttons.
It's really
So
nice.
from a user experience in here, I can't ask for much more. I'm very, very happy. I have a massive volume knob. It would have been great to have a tuning knob on this side instead of, you know, a data USB port that rarely gets used because you have a higher charging rate USBs underneath this massive armrest.
Yeah, I don't think it's offensive. I just don't. I'm not necessarily wowed for $80K. It feels
80K,
like you really
yeah,
need
this interior.
some designer interior.
Yeah.
But maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
No, I agree. I think for 80K, this interior doesn't wow for sure. It's nice, but I'll leave it there. Also, I'm not happy with the head-up display in here. It's from old technology. I mean, you can see head-up displays that look identical to this, like in a 10-year-old Lexus, and it's just not up to what I expect for a brand new platform, new powertrain, new everything Sequoia. That's kind of like a relic that's held over, unfortunately.
Maybe that's my problem. It does look like an older vehicle design on the inside.
Maybe it's not as modern enough for you or chic. I mean, it's tough coming out of that Mazda CX-90, which costs $20K less than this. Now, why would you go for something like this over a 3-row crossover? Well, if you need to tow, I would say, and if you live on terrible roads, this I would have much better confidence going on gravel roads, dirt roads, with the all-wheel drive system, the body on frame, the extra ground clearance that we have in here.
It's a Sequoia. Like, people buy into that brand, you know, like
they buy into it and they expect these things to last forever. And that's something we still don't know because the powertrain is so new on this. But Toyota's hybrids are pretty much bulletproof, so that wouldn't be stopping me from getting this truck. But simplicity and the beauty of the V8 being gone does hurt a little bit. And I know a lot of customers would just love to have the choice, like either V8 or give me a hybrid. And unfortunately, we just have one powertrain. Luckily, this powertrain is pretty satisfactory.
Yeah.
Really good fuel economy. Like I said, 19 miles per gallon right now. Like the 10-speed auto and the almost 600 pound-feet of torque is so appreciative in here. I really can't complain too much, to be honest.
And it's nice and tall. Like that other car didn't have height. Yeah,
the CX-90 did not give you this sort of vantage point, even though it had bigger windows, better visibility overall. So it's a give and a take. Here's a Target. And we'll show the camera system in here and then wrap up our driving impressions.
Okay.
And so I love having the camera button up here that gives us a full screen 360 camera setup. And when you're in drive, it'll show you the front camera. So as we pull into this parking spot, the turning radius is really strong in here.
Especially because it's gigantic.
It's enormous, and it's really easy to turn this thing in parking lots.
Nice.
The backup camera looks great as well.
Oh, wow,
so
it's so crisp.
I love that feature in here. And I'll have to put which packages you can get this 360 camera, because for a truck this big, you want to have the best visibility around as possible. So anyways, we got to head into Target, and then we'll wrap up this video on the flippity flop. Now that we're leaving Target, again, just the 360 camera makes driving this whale of a vehicle so easy.
It makes it way less intimidating, I think.
Oh, absolutely.
You know?
You look at this thing and it is intimidating on the outside.
It's very intimidating, but like
it's huge.
Just kind of nice for mom because you want like that intimidating car, but not difficult to drive, you know?
Yeah. Do you feel like, do you get the same vibe in here as the old Sequoia? In terms of like, you just feel like you're sitting up high, you feel really safe, all of that?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I feel like it's not as rugged as the previous Sequoias that we've driven.
Right.
Which actually might be a positive if they're trying to appeal to moms, you know?
Sure, yeah. I mean, the previous Sequoia that we drove was a TRD Pro.
Oh, okay.
And so maybe that's what's coming to your mind. And they make the TRD Pro and the new Sequoia as well.
Okay.
So you can get that rugged end of it if you want.
But this is more mom friendly. I mean, like with like
for
different colors, like the tones that they're using, like the wood. It is classy. It's just for $80K.
It's a lot of money, yeah. The thing is, also when I was looking online, there were no SR5 base grades even available and within 200 miles of us. And the next grade up is limited, and those are around $70,000.
Oh, okay.
So it's hard to find these at the prices of the old Sequoia, and that makes it a tougher sell, especially when there are large 3-row crossovers out there, like the Telluride, like the CX-90, even the upcoming Toyota Grand Highlander, that in a lot of ways are going to be better buys for families than this. Like I said, the greatest aspects of this is when it, like if you need a large people mover that can double as a towing vehicle, as well as just handling light off-road stuff with no problem, because it is just built so like heavy duty for that sort of I guess workload. Would I buy this over the Nissan Armada? And the answer is no. I love the V8 in that. It's so smooth. The build quality, like the build quality in this seems great. It just doesn't seem as high quality as the Armada, and you can get the Armada for less. So, you know, maybe that's just the nostalgia part of me. It's like simplicity, V8, smooth as butter. It feels just as fast as this as well. Not quite as torquey, but yeah, Nissan Armada, that's due for a redesign as well. And it's going to suffer the fate of modernization, which is losing the V8 due to emission regulations and whatnot. Yeah, so QX80/Nissan Armada still are my favorite body on frame, large family mover vehicles. It's that though they don't feel as large and accommodating for our family, but in terms of driving and overall like feel, I feel those are better vehicles, and you can get them for a better price. I
mean, and not every family needs 4 car seats in the car at once, you know?
Right.
So
yeah. So there are a lot of options out there. Obviously, this is such a low volume vehicle for Toyota. We no longer have the Land Cruiser, so this is kind of doing double duty of the Sequoia and the Land Cruiser, at least the old 200 series.
Oh, interesting.
And then, yeah, the Grand Highlander, that's going to be almost the vehicle that puts an, I'm not going to say nail in the coffin because there's still uses for this, especially in the towing and off-road, but that Grand Highlander, when I go out to Hawaii to drive it, is going to be the answer for the shortcomings of this vehicle. Like poor fuel economy, and just limited interior capacity and cargo capacity. And I believe that Grand Highlander is going to fill those needs for families a lot better than this. So, all right, well, thank you guys for watching. The new Sequoia is a really good vehicle. It's just very expensive, especially in this Capstone trim. There's just a lot of options out there on the market, and the old Sequoias out there with the V8s, I'm gonna miss quite dearly. But you know, getting 19 miles per gallon right now is something that the old Sequoia could only dream of. But
that's true.
that was like 13 or something. But thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, subscribe. For more upcoming Toyota reviews, Lexus reviews, but especially that Grand Highlander review and driving impressions that I'll bring to you guys within a month of this recording. So thank you, Toyota, for sending this behemoth to us. I wish we had a boat so we could, like, you know, use it for its intended purpose.
Well, we just gotta get a boat.
Just gotta get a boat. All right, next time. All right, thanks guys. Have a great day and peace.